All right, we got ourselves a tier list for this most recent balance change, so let's get into it. We are going to be starting off with the heroes. Normally I start off with the minis, but let's start off with the heroes this time. In the D tier, I'm going Natureborn. Natureborn is the only hero in the D tier. She is absolutely terrible. She needs a buff. With so much anti-heal introduced into the game, and anti-heal being like consistently 66% now, she's just not good. Her overheal is not effective. Her healing's not effective. She's really weak. She definitely needs some kind of buff. I would honestly like to see them just completely remove overheal from the game, because now with a lot of things having anti-heal, the overheal is never really going to be an aspect, especially in deer form, right? So I would like to see that changed. One of my ideas was to make it like healthy units get this. I talked to a couple other creators about it too. They were kind of on the same page. So hopefully we'll see that kind of change, but I would just like to see overheal removed from the game completely, because Natureborn is just absolutely terrible. And then in the C tier, I think I'm going to be going with the Grand Warden and the Barbarian King. This might be debatable because I feel like Barb King still synergizes pretty well with like Dark Goblin and Dagger Goblin, but I feel like he's just not in the meta right now. With only +2, he's not able to deal with Shield Maiden as well as he was able to before, and with Shield Maiden getting so much of a buff and only the Barbarian King getting that +2, there aren't a lot of units who can really take down Shield Maiden, especially that synergized with the Barbarian King. So I feel like Barbarian King has just kind of fallen off the meta, with Shield Maiden kind of being a little bit more dominant. So I don't know if Barbarian King needs a change, or if he's like good as is. Maybe that should be +3 attack instead of +2 attack. I don't know, but I feel like Barbarian King just kind of in the C tier right now, along with the Grand Warden. And in the B tier, I'm going to be throwing in the Countess and the Monk. I think the Countess and the Monk are just kind of mid B tier. They're pretty solid. They're not super consistent. So that's just kind of where I see them fitting. And then the A tier, this one's going to be a little bit interesting. Some of you will be like, what? I'm going to say Wave Master, SK, and RC. Yeah, Wave Master might be a shocker to some people in the A tier instead of B tier. But honestly, the Wave Master flip with the fact that he's able to grant the attack speed and movement speed boost to allies makes Valkyrie really good on the backside. Could make Pekka really good on the backside. Could make Mini Pekka really good on the backside. It all depends on how your opponent is placing their units and what units they are playing and where they are positioning them. But I think Wave Master is an underrated hero within the meta. But I do think these units... Oh, I forgot Pink Fury. Pink Fury is also B tier. I forgot about Pink Fury. Everybody's like, you're putting Pink Fury in S tier. No, Pink Fury's B tier. She's just kind of mid. People sleep on her. She's not like the most amazing hero, but she's still pretty decent, right? Like any of the heroes in the B tier, like you can probably win with if you play it right and have a good matchup and synergize well with the correct minis. But then A tier is like these units are these heroes are like you can pretty much win with these all the time. And then S tier heroes, I'm throwing in the the Shield Maiden and the Archer Queen. Archer Queen is borderline SA tier for me, but I still feel like Archer Queen is just S tier. I feel like right now you can just kind of drop her, and it's just all consistent placement, and she just like goes to town with the entire deck. You can still obviously beat Shield Maiden and beat Archer Queen, but to me they're just S tier. Nothing in the no heroes or minis in my opinion are like insanely overpowered. There are heroes and minis that are on the stronger side and probably do need a nerf, but honestly this meta overall is really balanced. But now let's talk about the minis and see where they are going to land. So in the D tier, honestly, I'm throwing in the Barbarian. I'm throwing in the Battle Healer. I know some people are probably like, what? But I mean, I'm throwing in the Spirit Goblin too. Like, I just think these three units are just not great. Like I don't know, something's off about them. Like Barbarian's good at lower levels, and that's perfectly fine. I think they tried to make him more viable at upper levels, but he can still surprise you here and there. But I just feel like they're just not in the meta anywhere. Pretty much same thing with Spirit Goblin. And then in the C tier, we're going to be throwing in the Witch, the Skeleton Guard, and the Bandit. I just don't see these kind of just being like, they're not great. They're just kind of there. I don't think I've seen Witch only with Skeleton King. I see Guard every now and then. Bandit I haven't seen like at all yet, and I've really haven't I saw Barbarian and Battle Healer like a couple times, and then I rarely see Spare Goblin too. So I don't know, I just feel like these units just aren't that great right now, and they're just kind of below average. I'm also going to throw the Lumberjack in there as well because we don't really see him as much. I feel like he only synergizes well with Countess and maybe a certain Barbarian King deck, but these two are low, so it makes sense for the Lumberjack to be low as well. In the B tier, we're probably going to have a decent amount of minis. Let's see, where are we? In the B tier, I think we're probably going to have a decent amount of minis. I'm going to say Giant Skeleton is in the B tier, Knight is in the B tier, Magic Archer is in the B tier, Mega Knight's in the B tier, Miner is in the B tier, Musketeer is in the B tier, Archer is in the B tier. I don't think Archer is really that dominant. Bowler is in the B tier. These are just kind of units that we're not seeing like super consistently. So I'm gonna be throwing these guys in B tier. In A tier, I'm throwing Wave Master. I'm throwing Royal Ghost. Only reason I'm throwing Royal Ghost is because he feels like he's still pretty solid. And the synergy with Wave Master is just absolutely insane. And then I'm also going with the Ice Wizard in the A tier, Mini Pekka in the A tier, Pekka in the A tier, Prince in the A tier, Valkyrie in the A tier, Swordsman in the A tier, Fisherman in the A tier, and then I think Dagger Goblin in the A tier as well. Oops, we bumped the D tier off the screen, but that's okay. I'll fix it after. And also, actually, I think maybe Wizard in the Ewiz in the B tier as well. Like, I feel like Ewiz is just like not really that solid right now. And then in the S tier, we're going with the Golden Giant, we're going with the Dagger Goblin or Dark Goblin, we're going with the Healing Ranger, and we are going with the Wizard. I really think these four, like Golden Giant is just super tanky. Anytime you want to have like a sustainer in your deck, you definitely have to have Golden Giant. If you want high DPS output, you have to have Dark Goblin in your deck. Dark Goblin is insane right now. Healing Ranger just gets heals off left and right, heals up the Shield Maiden, heals up the Dark Goblin, makes them unstoppable, they can't get stunned, everything like that. Healing Ranger's so strong. And then the Wizard, for a 2 elixir unit, dealing 3 damage, and then at max level dealing burn over time, dealing a large area of splash, and anti-heal. Wizard is like so strong. Like any one of these four, like at least one of these 4 units. The reason I'm putting them in S tier because it feels like you have to have at least one of these 4 units in your deck. If you do not have one of those 4 units in your deck, you will lose. That's what it feels like right now, which is why I'm putting these in the S tier. So this is our final tier list below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with anything down in the comment section below. But I think this is an overall pretty solid descriptor of what the current meta looks like, where basically the D and C tier units are just, we don't see them. B tier you see every now and then. A tier you see paired pretty well. And then S tier you see at least one of these 4 guaranteed in a deck in the meta. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and if you suggest any balance changes, also leave them down in the comments section below.